Welcome, football stalkers. Look, a lot has been happening. Got that Twitter account, yeah, Kaizer Chiefs. There's been brr, brr, brr. And then there's a lot of interaction going on. We're all glued into that account to know what's actually going on at Nitrena. There's a whole lot of gossip, a whole lot of people saying a whole lot of things. But what we're going to do now is just go and talk about what is actual facts at the moment, what we know happened. I've got Hunter and I've got Mish from Amakosi for Life. Guys, thank you very much for joining and discussing what has been I don't know, what should we term it? Should we term it as a terrible season? Should we term it as a self-destruction season? I don't know. What is the 2019-2020 season? A lot is happening at the club at the moment.
I want to call it a write-off. It's written off now, like when you smash your car, there's a car accident. It's written off. You know what I mean? And you forget about it and you get a new car. So now we've got a new car coming in. There's a new car coming, guys. There's a new car. Don't worry.
Oh, so I see you've been hunting for a Bernie Mac or some sort. I don't know.
Explain this Bunny Mac.
Okay, well, let's start with this. It was clear from you guys, as soon as you guys lost the league, let's put it this way, you guys lost the league. As soon as you lost the league, I think from you guys, the message was clear. Middendorp had no future at Kaizer Chiefs. And there were a few reports that one was like, okay, wait, what's happening? Why is Middendorp not fired even now? You know? So Middendorp is gone now. And I was also surprised with the news that we got today with Shaun Bartlett leaving as well, which I don't know what was that all about, but he's no more at Kaizer Chiefs. So, yeah, what do you guys make of the news?
Look, Ivan, the news that we heard yesterday, it was really expected, all right? And that one in itself was a no-brainer that Middendorp was actually going to leave. He was actually bound to leave. And if you have a look at the way we've been performing throughout the season, especially on the bio bubble as well, it was really, really shocking and atrocious, to say the least. So all I can say is that Mtaonge had actually seen enough, and which is why he actually summoned Middendorp as well as the rest of the players to an urgent meeting on Tuesday, and he was just there to discuss with the guys what had transpired during the season, what were the ups, what were the downs as well. And I'm pretty sure that the main topic was what had happened in the bio bubble. And after that, that's when he actually called Middendorp aside to discuss the way forward together with management, and he first had to review what our style of play was, what was our objective for the season, given the fact that the club was celebrating 50 years. And to his disappointment, we just didn't deliver. Middendorp and his technical team just didn't deliver, but also the players as well. They didn't deliver as well. And for the sake and sanity of peace, we're within the Amakosi camp, as well as the supporters as well, given the fact that supporters were really, really not happy with Middendorp. And it came to my knowledge that a lot of players as well was not happy with Middendorp as well. That's when they had to reach a decision and say, look, we were going to have to part ways here. So that's where it's sacked. And the funny thing is that when the sacking happened on Tuesday, and this is a shocking revelation, it was 22-3 when I went to social media and wrote sacked. I had no GPS, I had no source, I had nothing, right? But what prompted me to say sacked was an article that I read in one of the football publications, and it was actually saying that no, Kaizer and the management have actually summoned Ernst Middendorp as well as the rest of the Chief squad to an urgent meeting. So that key word, urgent, is what prompted me to say stacked. Now, with regards to Shaun Bartlett, I was really surprised. I was expecting him to stay and probably help out Arthur Zwane in the MDC squad so that he can be able to nurture and unearth young talent and bring them over to the first team as well. So I was actually sad about it. But life goes on and the show must go on. And like Mish said earlier on, it's a new car. I mean, the old car was written off, so now we're in for a new car. So let us test drive this new car. Hope it looks after us well. And I'm looking forward to what's going to happen.
No test drive. The car must be ours now.
Yeah, the car must be ours. Yeah, correct.
The car is ours. We own the car. We put the finance, the deposit is all
what
in.
Deposit?
Everything's
approved. Bring cash immediately and then we go.
But yeah, I mean,
You, Mish, what do you make?
Hunter said, what do I make of?
The news, the sacking, the 2 sackings.
Oh, the 2 sackings. Firstly, Bartlett. The only reason why, I mean, it would be nice to keep him on. And I think one of the other followers on Amokospo Live had said, I think Hunter might have said this. Oh, sorry, Hunter said this. He wishes that he could have stayed behind and helped out Arthur Zwane on the youth, with the youth in the MDC side. Take him off. I don't know whether he would have wanted that. I don't know if that's something Bartlett would have been interested in. Groom the academy, see to the young lads who are coming through the ranks, help them make the transition. It would be nice to have Bartlett there, because he knows, he actually does still. He's been there for the last 2 years or whatever it is, and he understands the players and he understands Kaizer Chiefs. But obviously, they didn't want any interference with the new coach, the new managers coming in. Obviously, they probably pinpointed the new manager already, and the new manager has already made his demands, and so they had to take that into account. So obviously, there was no room for Bartlett. But I think Bartlett can do quite well on his own as a manager. He could try. I think before this he at Golden Arrows, right?
Yeah.
He was at
he was at Golden Arrows.
I know he was the one responsible for stabilizing Tux. I don't know after Tux where he went, but yeah, I think he was dealing with teams that were facing relegation, and I think he was also involved in teams that are trying to get promoted.
He actually brought Arrows back from the National First Division, because remember Arrows was relegated in 2014 to 2015, but throughout that season he helped Arrows get back into the top flight, and that is why people have been looking at him close, and they've been very impressed, and that is how Tux snatched him up. Unfortunately, things didn't work out with Tux as well, but that's when Matang actually saw an opportunity with him, and he actually did quite a good job in terms of being close with the players, guiding the players from the sidelines as well. And I think the only downfall was the coach that he was working with, really, because this is a coach that just did not even want to listen to anyone. So that is the problem.
Middendorp, I think he knew it. I think he knew it at the Wits game when you saw him walk to the end of Nazareth Road. When you saw him walk to the stands, he knew it then. He knew then, shit, my job is gone. I need to start thinking about new accommodation. I need to start thinking about where my wife is going to stay, because he knew it was over. It was over. The way he walked and paced up and down the whole of FNB Stadium. We knew it was over then. I think.
Yeah. So we spoke about this before. Where we heard rumors about Middendorp sacking way before. Not even. Let's exclude the bio bubble. Even before, we spoke about it. That why were reports circulating about Middendorp being sacked and all. And what we understood as gossip was that Kaizer Chiefs is not keen on Middendorp. He doesn't like him. And even Middendorp at times spoke about how he got support from Bobby and Kaizer Jr.
Bobby, yes.
Now, it's very interesting that in the statement released by Kaizer Chiefs, it's very specific in saying Kaizer Chiefs and the management. The rest of them are just packaged in, and the management. But Kaizer Chiefs, the main one, as Kaizer Chiefs, and I was like, okay, so clearly, probably Kaizer was not impressed with the way, as much as Kaizer Chiefs was number one, probably he wasn't pleased with the way Kaizer Chiefs was playing, and probably didn't see future. Because again, we go back to the statement where they're very specific in mentioning that the way Kaizer Chiefs played. And at times I would say it's one of those unspoken secrets type of thing, where we as supporters and fans, we speak about it, we like the helicopter football and all that, but it's when you talking about officially from the club, nobody really came out and said, this is the type of football we're playing. Nobody said anything. But now it's basically just come out and admitted to saying, listen, the style of play that we had does not suit Kaizer Chiefs. And this is one of the reasons why the coach is sacked. Apart from the fact that we've lost the league, but the way we were playing is not satisfactory to the brand. So does that then mean that Kaizer Chiefs is taking charge of things now? Is Bobby taking a seat back? Or was this just a momentarily thing where he just comes in, does whatever, and then he steps back again?
Can I answer that? Can I go first? I know Hunter will have quite a good response to this, but I want to add into what you said there. The Kaizer Chiefs was the one, and I think you also brought this up during the season. Before lockdown, during the season in Jan, and you brought up the interview that Middendorp gave once when he said there are certain forces within the club that want to be up. And I think, like you say now, those forces were Kaizer Chiefs, but he had support from Bobby. So, and others, there might have been others also within the club. I'm not sure who the other officials are. Maybe Hunter can add on there. But he knew in Jan when he was winning. It was weird because he was making these statements when he was winning Manager of the Month. Yeah. When he won Manager of the Month 2 or 3 times, after the second time in a row or whatever, he said something along the lines of there are forces within the club who want me out. And that also are signs that, it was kind of weird for a manager who's winning Manager of the Month, who's topped the log, to be saying that in Jan, So there was always a negative energy, or not energy, but a pessimistic, vibe coming from Middendorp throughout his tenure at Kaizer Chiefs. It was never a man who was happy or comfortable to be at the club. And I think it's been that way for a long time. Even Kompela never looked, comfortable. We haven't had a coach. I don't want to even talk about Salinas because he was there. Like he was like a temp coach, he was like a temporary coach. So it's going to be hard now for the next coach. You're talking about Kaizer Chiefs, he's taking over. How he's going to be this coach that is going to tick all those boxes, playing style, trophies, pleases both Bobby and Kaizer. And we also need to take a step back, and we have to ask ourselves as fans, and the club needs to ask themselves, is, the question of who is actually running the club now, because if they're going to continue like this, it's a mad negative impact on the field. Whatever's happening in the boardroom, and we've seen this with teams like Arsenal. Sorry, Hunter. Arsenal, Manchester United. When there's disagreements at the top, Ed Woodward, whatever. Whenever you see in the boardroom, there's disagreements. It filters out into the field. So they need to get their shit together. Like Bobby, Jessica, Junior, and Kaizer, the family needs to come together and get their shit together, come together as a family for the rest of the Kaizer Chiefs family, because it's going to filter through negatively on the pitch. So yeah, that's my feeling. I mean, as much as you saying Kaizer might be in charge now and taking over or whatever, I think everybody needs to come together now, Vina included.
That when Kaizer Down is fed up, he's really fed up for real. This is a club that he loves so much. He's our number one supporter of this club, and he really wants the club to do well. And what is more embarrassing is that for a coach like Ernst Middendorp, who we actually know that he is capable of failing to win silverware, failing of winning winning league titles. He just did the unthinkable. I mean, after over 380 days, surrender the lead at the top of the table on the very last day. And that is when Kaizer Motaung was really, really fed up. I mean, I can just about imagine how broken the Motaung family really was on that day. Everybody was broken. I was actually more angry than heartbroken. I mean, Mish can tell you when we did our interview. I was more angry than heartbroken because of what I stated. And whatever I stated, it happened. Whatever warnings I stated, it really, really happened. Right? So I tell you, like I said, it was really a good call for Kaizer Motaung to really sack Ernst Middendorp. And just to get the record straight, just to be clear, Kaizer Motaung hardly interferes with the coaches. He hardly does that. However, when he sees that something is not right, he has the full right to make that change, because he's the one that's paying the salaries. He's the one that is having the final say. He's the one that is having the full authority here, right? So in my view, I'm saying, you know what, I'm really glad that Kaizer Motaung is back, you know, to taking charge at the helm, because that is the Kaizer Motaung that we missed. Because he reminds me of the time where he was actually much younger, and he didn't take nonsense at all. There was a time where he would actually coach the team himself, sit on the sidelines himself and coach the team, and the team would actually win, right? But you see, right now he can't do that because he has to focus on the general or overall overseer. He's a general overseer of the club. That's why.
And his health, I guess, right?
So
yeah, his health as well. His health is really, really important, and I really am praying that he is actually into constant good health as well. And he really deserves better. I mean, I really felt what Kaizer Motaung Jr. actually said on social media when he posted a picture of his dad, and he said, "You deserve better, my king." And
he does,
I felt it. I really felt it.
So in closing, guys, I'm going to ask a question. So assuming that you guys win the case appeal, right? The question now is, whichever coach that comes in, this new project, am I correct in assuming that if Kaizer Chiefs has any chance of competing against Pito Sundowns, the checkbook needs to be open. The right coach needs to be there. The coach needs to be given full control, because if we look at what is happening at Sundowns, Coach Pito seems to be the one in charge of who comes in the club, who leaves the club. even negotiations of contract and stuff. It's something that he's the main guy in all these things, development, all those things. So, do you guys think that whoever that's going to come in and who's going to have a chance at competing directly with Coach Pizzo needs to be given the checkbook? Is that something that you guys think should be done?
Mish, you want to go?
Yeah, man. I don't know. Firstly, I don't know how. Like we assume, we've been assuming for the last couple of years, decades, whatever, that Bobby is the one with the checkbook. Bobby makes all those decisions. We've just assumed that. They never openly said that. I don't know, how true is that? Have they openly said that the coach has no control over the players that they want?
They haven't come out openly to say that, but I can say this. What we've seen more than once is that Kaizer Chiefs buying players before they get a coach. For me, that is a sign. If the coach was there and players were being bought, then I would say it's only speculation. But I think the speculation we have right now is probably a stronger speculation, because why then are players being bought before the coach? Who said that which players must be bought? Unless there's some form of structure at Kaizer Chiefs where it's been something that's been planned for over a year or 2 years or something. Then in that case, I don't know. But I guess one can also question that if Kaizer Chiefs has been planning for a number of years to buy certain players, then their planning is pretty bad because of the players that they've brought in compared to what other clubs brought in. Then that is a scary point as well. But I think the less of the evil is that Bobby's the one that's going out buying players and bringing them back and giving them coach players.
Yeah. Because I was going into, if that is the case, maybe, and I've been hearing rumors that might change now because of Kaizer's intervention, Kaizer Mutong's intervention now. And also, depending on who we get, that manager from Wits, if we get him, apparently, so that the brother who's unemployed, if it is him, apparently, and he stated this back in Jan or something when people were disrespecting Middendorp, and already saying Gavin Hunt is the man to take over from Middendorp. He said something about he wouldn't go to Kaizer Chiefs because he doesn't have the option. He doesn't have full control over his team or whatever, and getting the play once. Kind of, he wants to be the head. He wants to be the manager, not just the head coach or the first team coach. So obviously, what I think is going to happen is, and the odds are in his favor. Apparently, everyone is saying, even Hunter has a source that's confirming that it's Gavin Hunt. Everyone is saying they have a source or a little bird that's telling them it's Gavin Hunt. And I think if it is Gavin Hunt, then I'm sure Kaizer's intervened, and also they sat down with him, or they're sitting down with him and still obviously thrashing out details on the contract that will stipulate. Obviously, he'll have it there. His lawyers will be there as well. Stating that he has control over the team. He'll work, and then maybe also somehow they'll come to an agreement where Bobby and him will work together instead of just Bobby working alone. So maybe now Kaizer's made some intervention where Bobby has to agree to work hand in hand with Gavin Hunt or etc. I don't know, any other manager, insert any other name you want. So with regards to the open book check, yes, I think they'll have to. There's no. I mean, if you don't win the appeal, then I think if it's Gavin Hunt, he's the perfect man to come in and groom some of the MDC players. He has a great eye for spotting young talent. So I think he'll be perfect if we don't win our appeal. If we do win the appeal, even better. He can convince and sway some of the Wits players to come to to our team as well, which will be fantastic. We need a lot of players, both in kind of every department. We need some new recruits. So Kaizer Chiefs has to open up, and also if we release a lot of these players, we'll free up a lot of money, because a lot of these guys are getting paid unbelievable amounts of money for that shit they gave us this season. Yeah. So we need to sell some of those motherfuckers. Sorry, we need to sell some of those guys, and
come on, Mish. Say it, brother.
So, we need to sell some of those guys, and give those wages to the new guys that our new manager can bring in. It makes me angry, bro. For what we went through this whole season, none of those guys deserve. Yeah. And I've seen it. There was an article that I read in the South African. I think that was the publication. They gave a top 10 list of the highest paid players in the PSL, and about 6 out of 10 of them were Kaizer Chiefs players. If I'm not mistaken, might be 5 of them. Well, so I'll say at least half of them were Kaizer Chiefs players. And those are all obviously the senior boys. Bernard Parker, Kune. I'm going to say Billiat's a senior player. Billiat was number 1, of course. Who else was there?
Katsande.
I think Matol was there.
I don't know about Katsande, but he might be getting paid. I mean, they're all getting paid quite nicely. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So if we don't get the appeal, I mean, if we don't win our appeal, if we do win the appeal, then I think get rid of some of those guys, and we pay some of these new guys their wages, man, because other people who would die for Kaizer Chiefs deserve it.
Yeah. You know what? I agree with what Mish is saying. I mean, because to be quite honest, let's say the coach would really come. All right, depending on who it is, it could be that the hunt is over soon. I don't know, but let's say that the hunt is over.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it that he has actually agreed with management as well? He must have probably agreed with management that look, he would like to bring his own technical staff. He would like to work with players in which he wants to work with. There are certain types of players that he does not want to work with at all. And that was that. And you have a look at the likes of Spare Changase, Pilani Zulu. We are wondering, how is it that they actually got to extend their contracts with Kaizer Chiefs? And we would say, wow, somebody must have had a hand in the extensions, given the fact that Middendorp did not like them, and quite a number of supporters were not in supporter of some of the players as well. People were also surprised that Bernard Parker was given an extension just last year. And I was like, man, whoa, what is really, really going on? Maybe the management like Bernard Parker too much. Maybe they see him as a good role model for the young and upcoming players as well. But look, the point I'm making here is that whoever comes in, and I really hope that the hunt is over, whoever comes in would actually instill a new culture that is really aligned with the Kaizer Chiefs culture as well. You see, at Kaizer Chiefs, we're a family brand, and I'm talking not just about the adults, not just about management, not just about players, everyone affiliated with Kaizer Chiefs, including the supporters. We're a family brand, and we need to have a family atmosphere. That is part of the culture, Kaizer Chiefs culture.
Let me ask you guys this. Again, going back to the interview that we saw. Gavin Hunt says that the style of play for him is dependent on the players he has. It's dependent on that. He uses the strength of those players. Now, okay, you hear that, you're like, okay, good. So essentially, what you then pick up from that is that if Kevin Hunt, let's say, comes on Chiefs, and the players at his disposal are more ball-playing players, not the direct football that he employs at Vets. Yes, Vets plays direct, but I think different to Middendorp, they're not 100% direct. There are situations where they're able to pass the ball around. So my question then is, I've seen Gavin at Supersport. I've seen Gavin at Vets, and I can say that the direct football situation, it's something that is there for him. And you are going to find players that do pass the ball around. But also, I can say that there are ball-playing players that at some point get frustrated, that he either benches them or they leave the club. So, given that Kaizer stated the style playing and winning and all that, so then I would ask the same question I asked before. What then are you going to rank? Are you going to rank and say results, playing style, or are you just going to say, you know what, at this point on, style of play is the least of my worries, I just want to win? The reason why I asked this question is because under Middendorp, it was a similar situation. Kaizer Chiefs was in pole position to win the league. Now, obviously, at the time, we didn't know what was going to happen. Now we have hindsight, so we can say, oh, he lost it. But at the time, we didn't know. Kaizer Chiefs were in the front seat. They seemed like a team that's going to win the league. But the style playing was questionable. So, going back again to Kevin Hunt, is Kevin Hunt going to get criticism if he comes on Chiefs, plays a similar football that Middendorp was employing, with a little bit of passing of ball, but he plays direct, defends well? Is he going to get the backing from the fans? Or at some point, are the fans going to get on his back and saying, listen, this is not attractive football. We're not enjoying this.
Yeah, good question. Good question. And look, as a coach of a professional team, you will always be criticized. That is just a plain and simple truth. So we should actually expect that Kevin Hunt will be criticized. Whether we are passing the ball around or whether we are playing direct football, he will get criticized. People talk, right? That is one thing that he's used to. He's used to being criticized, and it really doesn't bring him down. For real. But the one thing that I can differentiate between Gavin and Ernst is that Gavin has plan A, plan B, and plan C, something that Middendorp does not have. And the reason why I'm mentioning those three plans is because he implemented those plans while he was at SuperSport United. In the first season in which SuperSport actually won the league under his mentorship, he used plan A, which is just direct free kicks and all, because SuperSport would just score from set pieces, all right? But he saw that, no, there is some things that really need to be added there. You can't just be relying on set pieces as well. So come the second and third season, that's when he put in his plan B and plan C, and that's when it included your playing style, like you're playing the ball on the ground and all that. And you saw SuperSport became even more dangerous as well. Became more dangerous, and he produced the results. So, like I said, Gavin Hunter is a results-driven person. Yeah, the style of play will be questionable. It will. But let it not be the reason why we are not getting results. And if he does get on the helm, I'm pretty sure an agreement between him and Daum has probably been finalized as far as what style of play should be played. Because how often are we going to see the style of play that Wits had played against Sundowns in that 2016 MTN8 final? Are we going to see that at Kaizer Chiefs? But it's dependent on the kinds of players that we have. we are able to play with such fluidity with the likes of Katande, the likes of Parker, the likes of whatever senior player there was under Baxter's mentorship. But now, since Baxter is gone, a lot of the senior players have actually gone, and we're just left with the survivors of 2013, should I add, which is Kune, which is Parker, as well as Katande as well.
And Matoho.
Yeah, Mato. Thank you. Yeah, Mato. I knew I forgot one. Yeah, Mato as well. So what I am saying is that whatever players he works with, he's going to bring out the best in them. And he's going to study them carefully. And he's going to witness their strengths. Once he finds their strengths, he uses them. So even the ball players will also be involved, because Gavin loves working well with youngsters as well. And as far as defense is concerned, this guy's very strict when it comes to defense, because he used to be a defender himself. He knows that you're not. If you are defending nonsense, he's going to take you out. He will take you out. So I'm going to see a massive improvement in terms of style of play, in terms of character as well. And now, if you can just about imagine, you're putting Gavin Hunt together with Benny McCarthy in the technical setup. Oh my goodness, it's going to be fireworks, because now the players are going to be waking up now. People are going to be waking up. People are going to be, energized. People are going to be really, really disciplined now, because these are two strict coaches now. They don't take nonsense now. Yeah. Benny learned from Gavin. Yeah, Benny himself, as a player, he learned from Gavin. And
who is Gavin Hunt's current assistant coach?
Wow.
The thing with Gavin Hunt is he's not like other coaches where he goes with his assistant. I think he goes there. Either he deals with the club's assistant, or through that he then appoints someone. Because if we look at who he had at Vets, where you had Ernst at some point, and you Ernst now obviously moved on. You're looking at when he was at Supersport, he had Kaitali Timbo. So Gavin Hunt is not necessarily somebody who goes with his team. He's somebody, he goes there and he can just say, look, I don't mind working with so and so and so. But I wanted to say this. Look, excuse me. If it is true that Benny and Gavin go with Chiefs, I can say this from a neutral point of view. It's going to make the rivalry between Sundowns and Chiefs more exciting. I can tell you that. Because you look at some Sundowns bench with Coach Mangoba, Coach Pizzo, and Rulani. And now, Rulani. Kaizer Chiefs and saying Benny McCarthy, Gavin Hunt. We know Gavin Hunt and Pizzo head to head. That is fiery stuff. Now you add in one Benny as well, who's fiery himself, an ex-player. So there is that much respect to the players when he says, look, I've been there, I've done it all. So when I say do this, I know what I'm talking about, Exactly. So I can say that,
guys, one second, I'm smiling because who Roland Pucha plays for who?
Roland who?
Pucha. Does he play for Cape Town City? No.
Yeah.
What's his name?
He's no longer there anymore, but yeah.
He's no longer there.
Where is he now?
No, he's not. I think he's in the country. I think he left.
No, it's quite fun. It's quite funny because I just got a notification. I don't even follow the guy or anything. I just got a notification, but he liked the tweets that I put out about Benny versus Gavin Hunt earlier. It just came up now, and I was like, wait, hold on, what's going on? The funny thing is, it was like you must like it for Benny McCarthy, and he liked the tweets. So if you want to choose Benny McCarthy, you gotta like, Yeah. So it's funny that he chose Benny. So I don't know if there's any communication happening between those two parties still. I don't know, but it's interesting.
Something's cooking.
I can say this as well, that with obviously, now we're talking about speculation, but I think a big institution like Kaizer Chiefs, you can't really just rely on Kevin Hunt, because I think you need to have a number of coaches that you say potentially can take over, because Kevin Hunt will come with his conditions and the other ones will come with their conditions. Now, you don't know what's going to happen with the cast or all those things. So up until he signed on a dotted line, I'm sure Kaizer Chiefs has options. They're not just relying on just one guy, because then you're running the risk of going to another Solina situation where you hire somebody based on SMS. From what we hear, the guy was appointed.
Look, you know what? You know who also might be a dark horse in this race, in case what you're saying is true, with regards to us not getting Gavin Hunt, and if it's not Benny McCarthy either, is what's happening with the Highlands Park situation? Have they sold yet?
There's this guy with the small shares of Highlands Park. He's the one disputing the sale. But from what we hear, it's confirmed they sold Highlands Park. Already Sundowns is already circulating around the club. From what we hear, 2 players are confirmed going to Sundowns. So yeah.
The reason why I'm asking is because a dark horse in the race for manager, I think, like a last minute buy could be Owen Nagama, right? Maybe,
but I would say this. Look, if I was Kaizer, my options would be Eric Tentler. The dark horse, I would say Eric Tentler. Look, Eric did a magnificent job at Pirates. Final in the CAF Confederation Cup. Pirates, I remember Pirates then was beating Sundowns 3-1 or something. This is the time when they still had Erasmus and all that. Look at Maritzburg under Tentler. The team that was fighting relegation is the very same team that beat Kaizer Chiefs twice this season. No, actually 3 times. They beat Kaizer Chiefs 3
times.
In the cup as well, and then in the league. They were in the final. Unfortunately, they lost.